Hi everyone, here's what's bothering me today. So over on Facebook, I saw this promoted content, which was from the Globe and Mail with CPP Investments. So it's a paid partnership, paid promotion. Here's what it said. One way to cut housing costs is for multiple generations of a family to live together. But how do you make it work both financially and personally? One family solution to Canada's housing crisis. And so what this does is this is actually part of a podcast, if you will. The podcast is called Stress Test, and this is season 3, episode 8. I'll provide the transcript down below, but this is the opening of it. One way to cut housing costs is for multiple generations of a family to live together, often children, their parents, and their grandparents. The concept isn't new and it has many benefits, including affordability and expensive housing markets. But how do you make it work both financially and personally? We hear from a family that moved 3 generations into a home they designed and built in North Bay, Ontario. Now, here's the thing. It is true that around the world, multi-generational houses and homes are pretty common, especially in places with large and tight-knit family units such as India. But what's absolutely bothering me about this whole thing is that it so beautifully skirts around the issue of housing affordability. And yet we have so many homes. We have more than enough homes to house everyone in Canada and still have a real estate market left over that people can play with. We have more than enough homes and condos to satisfy the needs of all citizens. But oh, look, the news media still isn't actually talking about the core problems, which is people aren't being paid enough to afford homes and the cost of homes are rising exponentially. And that's not even touching on just really horrifying stuff like whatever it is, BlackRock or whoever that is just buying homes as a pension investment. And it's like, maybe we should live in homes and not treat them simply as another commodity that gets bartered around by people who already have capital. And again, not to take away from multi-general housing being a potential solution for some people and some families, that's not a large-scale solution that can work for everyone, especially as we've seen with the pandemic, how, you know what? That kind of leads to the spread of a virus. And as we've seen in the past with tenement housing and such, it's kind of a vector for disease spread and is not a good thing to have so many people crammed together in single living spaces having to share everything. Not really good. So again, this just brings me back to they skirt around the housing affordability issue and the fact that people aren't making enough money to afford houses because they're just getting more expensive. And, maybe we should address this either by just giving people housing and just seizing some of what's on the market and saying, okay, you know what? Fucking cool your jets. This is now social housing. Or, hey, you know what? We have families in dire need of 2-3 bedroom places. That's for the families. Hey, we need people who need, proper spaces, time for themselves to be young business professionals. You cool with a bachelor pad or a 1-bedroom apartment? Yeah, cool. Okay, here you go. We're going to fix these other ones up that are apartments or whatever. We could actually figure out a plan and do stuff, but we aren't but look how much money we're making. Think of the economy. It doesn't actually matter that it's the people who make the economy function. We clearly recognize that there is a problem in this country with housing, be it housing affordability or just availability. And what the current government is promising in terms of new social housing units, not nearly enough. Plus, there is just the elephant in the room that there is more than enough housing to house all Canadians and still have a real estate market left over. Maybe the free market for real estate should be, you know what? Baseline obligation. All Canadians are housed first and foremost to a place that is suitable for them. And then whatever's left over, that's your free market. Go ham, bid, double what the house is worth. That's fine. That's the surplus. That is your little free market. Housing is a basic human right and need first. But I don't think we're going to see that from any government anytime soon. Because right now, they are making too much money. Or rather, their friends and their associates and their donors are making too much money off of the way things are currently. That's why the real estate market continues to get hotter and hotter, and the governments in various corners of our country refuse to do anything substantial. The business lobby from real estate is in their ear and calling them up and taking them out to lovely lavish dinners and lunches and meetings and golf trips and saying, this is actually a really important thing, and look how much money it's making. It's really helping the economy and your numbers. And look at, you're a responsible person, you like fiscal management or whatever the issue may be. This is how corruption actually happens. It's not that the West is free of corruption, it's that we call it lobbying, and the media has made it socially acceptable because guess who owns the media? So no, Globe and Mail, I am not interested in learning how a family managed to bring several other members of their family to bring them into one household, because I am tired of living with roommates. I want my own space, which means housing needs to be affordable and or plentiful, and a pay increase from my job also wouldn't hurt. These really aren't big asks considering how much is currently being developed and how much money is being made from this sector and how little action our government is taking to mandate the building of new affordable housing. Even though the gulf between the cost of everything and people's wages continues to widen with every year. Please start posting actual solutions. It should be the job of journalists and the media to report on the news and the truth and bring out breaking news, such as the fact that this current situation is a monster of our own making. And instead of supporting it and encouraging it, you should call it out. And the fact that you aren't is definitely what's bothering me today.